a little out of the picture there. It's a close one. But let's look now at Tamil Nadu, which is a massive election, massive implications, viewers. There is a lot happening for the first time. Remember, viewers, you're going to have the prospect of no big stars in the poll race at all.
It will decide actually the line of succession. Can E. Palanisamy say that I have managed to take on the legacy of J.J. Lalita? Can M.K. Stalin say that I am a worthy successor of Karunanidhi? Because the first election without both of these people.
Personalities giving away now to what people will say is real party politics after decades. I mean, just think back. MGR, think back, viewers. MGR, the tradition began one big star after the other from attached to the entertainment industry ruled Tamil Nadu. This time, no big tinsel star. Now, what does that mean?
Well, it means that people are now going to be voting based on maybe bread and butter issues.
Yes.
So should we start with the questions? Okay, the regions.
Okay, let's start with the regions, viewers. Let's not keep you in suspense. We will begin with regions. Shabir will also be there with us to guide us and talk us through each of the regions. Let's go. Nizam bhai, let's pull out the regions. Let's go full screen on the regions. Here we have Chola Nadu in the Kaveri Basin region. We also have Shabir with us, but look at these numbers, viewers. These are the seat projections, and you can see the NDA down 14 here. So this is the AIDMK alliance we are talking about with the BJP, already down 14. The gains 15 here for the DMK Congress. Remember, the Congress is just
and even though we're showing marginal, the symbols of the BJP and the Congress, it's actually the AIADMK and the DMK here, which really are the players. Both the Congress and the BJP are the junior partners in both of these alliances. So when you see the swing in the seats, it's largely, in fact, it's mostly the swing in the fortunes of the AIADMK and the DMK. So the transfer is almost absolute here. The AIDMK has gone down by 14 seats. The DMK has ended up gaining 15.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's a dead heat. 41 seats here. They're split evenly.
And it's the AIMK which has the first election it is contesting. They have got one seat. One seat they have managed.
Now, viewers, this is the region we are talking about. This is the map of Tamil Nadu. This is the area that we are talking about, Chola Nadu. Kaveri Basin. Now, this was very interesting because the last time, viewers, and Shabir, if you can just talk us through Chola Nadu, very, very important region here. Chola Nadu was the one that really gave the backbone to that AIADMK victory. Why are we seeing a drift this time?
Well, there are multiple issues as far as the Kaveri Delta region is concerned. One is the farmers issue. The farm laws are having a major impact in that region. If you talk to the farmers, they all feel that the farm laws that have been brought by the central government are not in their favor. So that is one of the key issues that one can witness if a person travels to the Delta region. And apart from that, the AMMK that is led by TTV Dinakaran is causing a huge damage for the AIADMK in that particular region. The last time in 2016, Jayalalitha managed to win that region because she managed to ensure that the Kaveri Tribunal Award is, released in a gazette. So that gave her the upper hand in that particular region. The farmers were backing her, but this time around, the farming community is definitely not in favor
to us
of
in Chola Nadu specifically. In Chola Nadu, what is the caste equation? Where have they traditionally stood party-wise? And what is the caste shift that is happening this time?
Well, as far as the caste issue is concerned, Devas are the majority in that region. And, it's a traditional DMK stronghold, starting from Tirchi till Tanjavur, Tirwarur. Tirwarur is the home turf of late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M. Karunanidhi. So they have considerable amount of impact in that region, influence in that region. And the DMK also has a strong leaders as far as the Delta region is concerned. But as far as the caste equation is concerned, the Devar caste is dominant in that region. So that is also, kind of angry with AIADMK because they feel that they are being sidelined as far as the AIADMK party is concerned, as far as the governance is concerned. And Sasikala factor
Why
is
do they
also
feel
playing a
sidelined?
key
Because
role
Tewar is
in
the caste from
form
which
of-
Shashikala belongs?
Well, that is also one of the reasons is what, if you go visit the ground, people talk about that particular aspect. And also one of the reasons is the 10.5% internal reservation that was given to the one-year community is something that has not gone down well within the central and the southern regions of Tamil Nadu. And in fact, in several places across Tamil Nadu, there is counter consolidation that is taking place on ground.
Right.
And that is in fact helping the DMK.
Let's look at a couple of other regions, but before that, let's just look at the vote share. Nizam bhai, if you could just bring out the vote share for the Cholanadu region, it'll be great. That's right. Look at the vote share, viewers. A minus 12.7% swing away from the AIDMK incumbent.
And the vote share is broken up. The DMK has gained, yes. But like Shabir was saying, here you've got AMMK cutting into their vote share in this area. 3.7% is
So
going.
it appears that entire attempt to try and bring both these together, Shashikala, many people said, had sort of been pressured into saying that she wasn't even contesting these elections, that she wasn't even a factor in these elections. That hasn't quite worked. That
Rahul,
hasn't
but
worked.
also it was a Hobson's choice because if
Hobson's
you
choice.
get Shashikala, remember she is a convict
That's
in a
right.
corruption case.
Yes.
So if she was to be taken into the alliance or she was to be projected in some way, that would be an indelible mark on your governance claims. So, I mean, it's a calculated risk.
It's a calculated list. Let's move on. Let's have a look at some of the other regions, viewers, as those numbers increase. And we are also joined by psephologist Yashwant Deshmukh, who has come in where the important state of Tamil Nadu is being called very slowly. Yes, this is the greater Chennai region. Very interesting area. The swing again away from the NDA. Not much of a gain for anyone. Things pretty even, Stevens. Let's have a quick look at the vote share once, very quickly. Let's have a look at the vote share. Yeah, that's the vote share. Here it's very interesting. Deflation of 12.8%, but not much change in the seat configuration.
You know,
So
this
obviously,
greater Chennai region vote
Yes.
share, there's a very significant 7.9% swing for the others. Shabir, if you're listening in, are these others, is this Makkal Nidhi Mayam? The other votes possibly could be, because if you're talking about the greater Chennai region, the urban population, Kamal Hassan, his party does hold a lot of attraction, at least for the urban voter, does it?
let's get in. Let's get in Shabir. Shabir.
Well, that's right. As far as the Chennai is concerned, Chennai region is known as DMK's stronghold. But this time around, even in the previous elections, Makkal Nidhi Mayam had some amount of traction. The new voters, the educated voters, so there is some kind of, connect with Makkal Nidhi Mayam. And that is perhaps, seen in these numbers that we have managed to get through C-Voter. There are some other, areas which
in fact, let's
Makkal
get
Nidhi Mayam...
Yashwantji also in on this, because he'll be able to tell us the kind of polling that has happened. Is this a negative vote for the AIADMK or a positive vote for the DMK and parties like MNM?
Well, this particular election is unique from many perspectives. I mean, first of all, we know for sure that Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi, two big names are not there. However, having said that, just keep this in mind. Even if Jayalalitha would have been alive today, after 10 years of incumbency, it would have been absolutely, almost improbable for her to win again. So there is a huge anti-incumbency sentiment that is brewing up. However, the X factor here is not the anti-incumbency. X factor is the succession plan. I genuinely believe that Karunanidhi somehow groomed Stalin for almost 15 years for this particular day. If Stalin would not have probably bungled up by giving too many seats 5 years back to Congress, probably he would have been the chief minister 5 years back. But look at the way he has handled Congress this time. So he was groomed. While in AIADMK camp, that grooming part was absolutely, it just wasn't there. So this election is kind of throwing up a lot many things, and particularly when you are talking about the Greater Chennai region, the absence of Rajnikant was not without a reason. In our tracker survey, in our own Times Now Sea Voter survey, we did tell that at no point of time Rajnikant's rating was more than 5 or 6%. So he took that cue. When those numbers were out 6 months back, he took that cue that, it's not something which is brewing up. It's not really going to do magical thing out there. And he actually decided.
But Yashwantji, let me just quickly ask you this, a question that Padmaja also posed. In this particular greater Chennai region, we're seeing the others picking up one seat. Now, number one, what is this seat? And we are also seeing quite a substantial chunk of the vote share drifting to them. Who is this? Is this the Kamal Hassan factor or what is it?
You have picked it right. So Kamal Hassan factor is working, but only and only limited to the urban areas, not beyond that. And that too, after some time, if the winnability factor is absent, it might fizzle out. So we know for sure that Tamil Nadu is home for 24 parties, caste-based and personality-driven kind of parties. But somehow in their local politics, they have always aligned themselves to the two fronts. Kamal Hassan has been trying so far to be in the middle, but I don't know how much electoral traction he is going to get in terms of seats. That is in the dark. I doubt that he will be able to convert too much of his popularity into votes and then votes into seats. He is not Rajnikant. Let's be very clear.
Okay.
Kamal Hassan is not
Rajnikant. He's not Rajnikant. I'll just come to you 1 second, Shadar. I just want to quickly look at this other big number. Who is the most suitable candidate to be the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu? Now, here you have an interesting mix. Stalin, Yashwant Deshmukh clearly now emerging as a singular pole, personality pole. Yes, he is obviously not in the same league as Mr. Karunanidhi. Obviously, people are looking upon him as a successor. Certainly not in the same league as J. Jayalalitha or anyone else that preceded them. But he's at least captured the imagination as of now of the public.
He has, and that too without getting on the Chief Minister seats even once. Look at the number 2 name, Rahul. If somebody like that sitting on the Chief Minister's chair, getting a traction like that, who was a virtual nobody, before Jayalalitha picked that guy up or Sasikala picked that guy up to become the Chief Minister, then it also depends on if Stalin once gets on the seat of the Chief Minister, he will become that brand.
But you know what will be very worrying and very distressing for Mr. OPS is that his approval or his vote is even less than that of Kamal Hassan. I mean, here is somebody who was leading a Dharma Yuddham, and now he's pretty much out in the cold.
And that public has been very clear. AIADMK voter have been very clear. If they want a Chief Minister, they are pretty much with the current Chief Minister. VK Sasikala polling around 8.4%. That is an interesting factor because I genuinely believe she is going to come out of the retirement right after this election results are out. I absolutely believe that.
That is interesting. VK Sasikala, 8.4% there. Very, very interesting, viewers. Look, it's very complicated, but it appears right now that the race is a tight one between MK Stalin and his own self. Can he outdo his own self? This is not a race between the others. It's clearly established. He is head and shoulders above the others. Now it is about how much more can he take his party to safety in the direction of a sweep, Padmaja. Will that sweep actually happen or not? Let's go back to some more questions. We've answered the chief ministerial pick. Stalin, pretty much head and shoulders above. Let's have a look now at the satisfaction rate with the NDA. Remember, the NDA has been making a huge push through the BJP, really. We're looking really more at the central government's performance and whether the BJP is actually adding on to the AIADMK there. Very clearly, very much satisfied. So these are converts. 13.45%. Satisfied to some extent, 27%. You add that, it's about 40%.
It's almost half and half. But it's interesting that this is lower than what is seen as the approval rating of the Prime Minister, because this is about the performance of the government at the center.
Yes.
And usually the Prime Minister, irrespective, I remember in the middle of the COVID pandemic, in the middle of, even when the economic problems were happening, the Prime Minister's approval rating was through the roof.
Yes.
But here, Tamil Nadu, which is infamous or famous for trending Go Back Modi, perhaps every single time the Prime Minister goes there.
That's the effectiveness.
Three states have been bucking the Modi trend for last 6 years, One is Tamil Nadu, one is Kerala, and one is Punjab.
But can I ask you, Yashwantji, is it because the tact that is being employed by some of the regional parties there is that Modi represents Hindu Hindi, and therefore, the South must be at an arm's distance from the BJP. Is that sticking somewhere?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I do remember the election in Tamil Nadu almost 20 years back when DMK was in the NDA alliance, and DMK was using Vajpayee's poster in Chennai to get votes. I have seen that. So I genuinely don't believe that there is too much of traction of anti-Hindi, anti-Hindu kind of thing. But what I feel that 10 years of incumbency for a party which is now in NDA, even that is taking the toll on the central government's rating right at the moment.
And remember, in this election specifically, the Prime Minister, Amit Shah, both went out of their way to say our biggest regret in this election is not being able to speak Tamil. The Prime Minister said it first, then Amit Shah, when he was asked what's the one thing that you regret in your political career, he said not having learned Tamil.
I can tell you one thing. Every journalist worth the salt knows that if the Prime Minister has said that, you don't be surprised. 3 years down the lane during the Lok Sabha election, he is going to probably give fluent speech in Tamil.
Well, he's already reading Thiruvalluvar, and 2 weeks after the Prime Minister quoted Thiruvalluvar's verses, Rahul Gandhi said, I am also reading a copy of Thiruvalluvar. So let's see who does more speed reading and starts quoting from the Tirukkural. Let me go across now to our panel, Mr. Rajgopalan, Shekhar Iyer, Shehzad Poonawalla, Narayanan Tirupati, Manu Sundaram, spokesperson of DMK, Mr. Tirupati of the BJP, Mr. Swaminathan, Secretary IT Wing and Joint Coordinator, Media Relations of AIADMK, join us along with M. Sridhar of the Makkal Nidhi Mayam and Dr. Sumansi Raman, political analyst. I'll first ask you, Mr. Swaminathan, what do you make of these results? Because here, despite the kind of push that you've made, in one day you announced, I think on the day that the poll dates were being announced, you made almost 5 to 6 announcements. Despite that, the DMK is surging ahead. Why?
Well, we have only projected 57 out of the 234 seats. But yes, as of now, big surge.
Yeah, before I could respond, the first one question that I want to know, or rather, I need answers to 2 questions. What period has this survey been conducted? Question number 1. And what has been the sample size?
Yashwantji.
It's not a one-off survey. We do a daily tracker across India. So the numbers which we are being shown on the screen right now are being updated till 12 o'clock today. Number 1, at any given point of time, for our projections in Tamil Nadu, sample size is never less than 7,000 samples. In the overall period of the last 3 months or the last 12 weeks, if you may call so, we have interviewed more than 40,000 respondents in Tamil Nadu alone.
Well, let me quickly go across once again to you, sir, and ask you to complete the answer.
Me, right? Yeah, I'm just coming to that. Now, having said that, my first and foremost observation is that these results that you have projected, whatever 57 or for the overall 234, I feel are absolutely skewed. Because just yesterday, your own group, Economic Times, has come out with an article which reads that AIADMK has an edge. There is no wave in Tamil Nadu.
That wasn't an article. That was based on an independent survey that has been done by an independent company. It wasn't an ET survey.
Allow me to complete. I understand they are independent. 2 organizations having 2 different methodologies of survey, giving 2 different opinions. opinions or two different results are very natural.
Okay,
We
I
have
mean,
been
it's
seeing
a point that
multiple
you are making.
opinion
I
polls, but
never
the
brag
final
on the
verdict-
screen.
the final verdict-
My friend
the final
Rahul,
verdict-
my friend
the final
Shahzad
verdict
and other friends on the
is on
screen,
the
they were
6th of
very much
April.
here in the same studios 5 years back when we were the Times Now Sea Voter opinion poll was the only one to say that Jayalalitha is winning again.
Correct.
Everybody else was getting it wrong.
I mean,
And sir, I never
pardon
bragged,
me,
but since you have
pardon me
raised
to
the
mention
question,
this here,
for
sir.
the last 4 assembly elections in Tamil Nadu, we have never
Pardon me
got it
to-
wrong, and God
pardon
willing,
me to
we will get
mention
it right
here,
this time
sir.
as well.
I beg your pardon to mention this year. Other than that one survey, if you look at the track record of Sea Voter, it has been many times
Sir,
the other way.
Sir,
All right?
sir,
With that humble
if you will
submission,
keep
I would
on,
love to-
if you
with that
will
humble
keep on
submission-
arguing, Sachin
No, I'm not
Tendulkar
arguing.
scored 100,
No,
but
I'm not
India
arguing.
lost.
Allow
But
me to
Sachin played
express my
well.
thoughts.
But look at
No,
the other innings where he got
allow
bowled
me
for
to-
a duck.
No,
You know,
no.
there would be a huge thing.
complete and then I
Kindly
will talk.
talk on the issues which Rahul and Padmini are trying to focus. I have
yes.
said it right in the start.
Mr. Swaminathan, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I do not think we gain anything from going and attacking the pollster. My limited point is we have done a region-wise breakup and we have analyzed the possible reasons. One of the reasons stated is, yes, you have massive anti-incumbency. 10 years of incumbency, the loss of Ms. Jayalalitha, the fact that you've had massive infighting which went on until 2 years ago. That will show effect, won't it?
It would still, going by what you say is true. Let us assume that for a minute, okay? I would want to counter that and say there is very minimal anti-incumbency in Tamil Nadu, point number one. The people are very happy because when the whole world has been suffering because of COVID, when industries, when companies worldwide, multinationals were shutting down operations, Tamil Nadu has been the only state to draw over 60,000 crores of investment and create 75,000 jobs. The youngsters in Tamil Nadu are extremely happy, number one. Number two, look at the farms. Look at the water, you look at all the lakes, they are full. So many, we have check dams made. Farmers are very happy, and especially after the farm loans have been waived, I don't see any great anti-incumbency as that is being claimed in this program, point number one.
So,
point number
Sir,
two.
he's
keep
painted such a lovely picture.
Yeah,
I
but-
almost want to shift to Tamil Nadu because youth are happy, farmers are happy, lakes are overflowing, business is booming.
There are certain facts that, obviously he's entitled to bring to the table. Let's just quickly call one more region before we take our break and get to the halfway mark in Tamil Nadu and see if maybe what the gentleman from the AIDMK is saying is going to come true. Let's move. This is the Kongu Nadu region. The seat share here, viewers, now total number of seats here, 52 out of 234. And you can look at these, viewers. You can look at the numbers stacking up again for the UPA alliance. It's a complete reversal.
Losing 30 seats over here.
Going straight into, yes. Now, this particular region, the Kongu Nadu region we are talking about is this particular region, viewers. It's this side of the state of Karnataka, of Tamil Nadu. It is the western part. It's the Nilgiris, Erode, Dharmapuri, Coimbatore, Dindigul, all these regions, viewers, which are seeing this. And you can also see, there's also an area, Coimbatore is the area where Kamal Hassan fancies his chances.
They're getting 2
Yashwant
seats.
Deshmukh, is this where Kamal Hassan is also now picking up some traction? Let's also bring out the vote share while we are talking about it. Yes.
This is the area that the ADMK had swept the last time. This is the western part of Tamil Nadu. Salem, Erode, Nilgiris, Coimbatore was completely swept. And if there is anti-incumbency, this will be the first place it would hit.
And one of the reasons, and I was speaking a little while back with Shabir, if we still have him, I want to bring him on. A large number of issues coming up and hitting really the AIDMK. We just heard the AIDMK spokesperson waxing eloquent about his performance. But Shabir, I just want to tell you, we'd had that conversation about this particular Kongu Nadu region. Tell us a little bit about why the AIDMK is facing such a backlash here.
Well, this is AIADMK's bastion. Last time around, like Yashwant was pointing out, this region gave huge gains for the AIADMK, and that is the reason why Jayalalitha managed to win the 2016 elections. This time around, there is a lot of uncertainty on ground, and that is also because there are two reasons. One is the 10.5% internal reservation for the one-year community. There is some counter consolidation of other castes is what we are hearing on ground. As far as the other issues are concerned, it's the corruption charges against the top ministers. Remember, the chief minister is from that region, and also several other powerful ministers are from that region. So there is anti-incumbency in that region that prevails on ground. And also apart from that, what we could understand is that this particular region had huge amount of power consolidation, and now it appears that it's all changing on the ground, because the DMK is focusing. The top leaders of the DMK have been campaigning there in that region for the past 6 months, and that is paying some kind of dividends for the DMK is what one can understand. Because when I visited, they said last time around in 2016, they said they are going to vote for 2 leaves. But this time around, the word that I can pick up from the ground is that this area is tough. It is 50-50. Either party can win the election. So that is not good for the AIADMK.
In vote share.
And that is
minus 9.5% gain there for
in their stronghold.
In their stronghold. So this tells you about the mood, anti-incumbency. Let me just bring in Shekhar Iyer also. Narayan Tirupati is also there, of course. But let me bring in Shekhar Iyer. Shekhar Iyer, we've almost got to the halfway mark. We're counting as of now 80 for the UPA, 25 for the NDA, 109 out of 234. Are you surprised at all? Is this in any way coming as a bit of a shock to you before we take a break? Yes, Mr.
Well, I think your projections from Kongunadu is a bit surprising, because that the Stalin has an overall edge. I mean, the DMK has an edge. Nobody has had a dispute with that. But what we must also remember, right now, Edappadi Palaniswamy or EPS has been campaigning all over Tamil Nadu, and he belongs to Kongunadu region. And his community has a big sway there, and there is a community loyalty. And the fact that he has also aligned with TMK, even though there are adverse reactions with other communities, but the fact that the Vanyas and the Kongunadu Gaundars are coming together, that itself will change the chemistry in the ground. And the fact that Edappadi is also drawing crowds. And I think I would also like to know what is the impact of the freebies. See, ADMK has also come with a big list of freebies, so has the DMK. So I'm not very sure that ADMK could be doing as badly, particularly in this region. Though there may be other factors that work.
Sentiment tracker, we'll keep special focus on Kongunadu. You're not entirely convinced with the numbers that have been given, the swing, especially the negative swing for the AIADMK. Manu Sundaram, reaction. Everything is happy, everything is going well. Then why is the DMK so unhappy?
Well, I don't know where you understand our unhappiness from, Padmaja. But look, let me make a couple of very basic points to begin with and then address your questions. Tamil Nadu has always voted for development. It has voted for social harmony, and it has placed great emphasis on the Tamil or the larger Tamil identity. Now, that has been best encapsulated by the Dravidian movement. So all of this predates Mr. MGR or Ms. Jayalalitha. It even predates my leaders, Kalaignar Karunanidhi and Anna. All of this goes back almost 100 years. Now, coming to the last 5 years, you would remember in 2016, the day the election results were announced, ADMK had 134 seats and DMK had 98. In fact, it was one of the closest. The difference in the vote percentage was around 1% between the two major alliances. However, over the next 3 years, there were a number of disqualifications, and subsequently by-elections had to be held in around 22 constituencies, after which the equations in the state assembly changed to roughly 120 for the ADMK and 110. All I'm trying to say is that the gap was already closing even before 2018 and 2019. And of course, I don't have to tell you this, but in 2019 for the Lok Sabha, the DMK and the alliance at large did rather well, and we won 39 out of the 40 seats. So this is not something I would reduce to just anti-incumbency or just the last 1 year or the last 6 months. It is something I would say has been building up from 2016 itself. Of course, on my part, I would say the three major reasons are overall there has been a lag in development and economy has slumped. I would contradict my friend from the ADMK. There's been terrible job losses. 50,000 MSMEs had to shut down in the last 3 years. There's been an erosion of social harmony. You've witnessed Jallikattu protests. You've witnessed a number of other sort of major people movements in Tamil Nadu. And also we feel that there's been a betrayal of state interest and state autonomy in legislation such as NEET and so on.
I think you've really set up because the points that you've mentioned for what you believe has been a gradual erosion in the support base of the AIADMK, I suspect goes in the direction of you suggesting that their alliance with the BJP has contributed to that in large part, which is what we will address, and we will get you more figures, questions that we asked to the voters about those specific points that you've raised, Manu Sundaram, after a very quick break.
Well, let's have a look at some of the other regions, viewers. We are roughly halfway in Tamil Nadu now. Let's go straight on and see what more we can add to the mix. Pallava Naidu in the northern region. There it is, the seat share up for you. Again, even Stevens as far as exchanges of seats are concerned, but it's becoming one-sided. 22 in 2016, just 7. Look at the maximum increase. 25 to 39. It's a region that was evenly split, but now, of course,
so
complete.
Now we see this trend pretty much across all different regions.
It's now beginning
that there'll be a minor little chipping away by the AMMK.
Yes.
But the split, the swing, is from the AIADMK to the DMK. It's
Absolutely.
a clean swing.
Let's look at another region as we move forward. 119 for the UPA, 32 for the NDA. We're already at 156 out of 234.
Okay, so Pandya Nadu, we have 19 going away from the NDA.
Which is right down in the south.
Going to 16. Here is where the others, one assumes, Kamal Hassan's party and the AMMK, both getting a couple or one seats in their kitty.
Yes.
Now we've got, let's look at the final region and the final tally as well. So the final region we have is the Puducherry region. Here you have, okay, we've already seen this earlier. So let's see in totality.
This is the Puducherry region. We haven't seen this actually. This is the Puducherry region. This is the one which is closest to the state. And here again, not many seats in play. It was 20 seats in play, but they bring up the numbers. It comes to 234, 177 for the UPA, NDA 49. The UPA means really the DMK plus. Viewers. So let's not confuse you. But here you have a complete swap, a swing, 5:5. But again, this is the overwhelming number. Look at the increase, 11 to 16. Look at the decrease, 9 to 4. So viewers, what we are getting now is a kind of, I wouldn't say a wave election, but certainly a consolidation dramatically onto one side, a complete reversal of the result really at some levels from the 2016 outcome. And very quickly, Yashwant Deshmukh, coming to you, 3 quick reasons for this before we open it up to the panel and also bring in some of our qualitative questions. Yes.
Very quickly, the first big thing that I said that even if Jayalalitha ji would have been alive, after 10 years of incumbency, it would have been impossible her to win this one, number one. Okay. Number two, succession plan of the DMK was way better than the AIADMK. Stalin was groomed for 15 years and he has asserted really, really well in this election, cut down on the seats allocated to the Congress, even forced somebody like Vaiko to put up his candidate on the symbol of DMK. And these are the very good assertions that he has been doing. Number 3, that the overall government incumbency working against the government has taken the toll, and full credits to Chief Minister. Honestly speaking, in absence of Jayalalitha, he managing these kind of numbers, I would say full credit to him. But even if Jayalalitha would have been here, she would have lost the election.
So, Narayanan Tirupati, when Manu Sundaram spoke earlier, the last 2 points he mentioned, loss of autonomy, Dravidian politics seems to be bowing in front of Hindi nationalist or Hindu nationalist politics, and communal harmony being disturbed. In some measure, does the alliance with you contribute to those factors?
No, number one, I start from the bottom. Communal harmony is being disturbed only by DMK and the Tirumavalavan, Mr. Stalin, all talking against the Hinduism, Hindu women. And they have been absolutely spoiling the law and order in Tamil Nadu. And they were trying to create communal disturbance in the last 2 years. And we have been, fighting with them. So, about the autonomy, in fact, this government, the BJP government, has given more powers to the state governments and also more finance, more projects, more developmental activities, etc., which we have already spoken in length and detail. But as far as all this time, I was patiently viewing and listening. The thing is that the others, what Mr. Deshmukh has quoted, there were no others in Delta region last time, but you had quoted it was two others were there, but no one was there except ADMK and DMK alliance. No party had representation in assembly. And as far as Kaveri Delta issue is concerned, yes, what S.P. Swaminathan said is right. There is no farmers' problem is there because the last 2 years, the Tamil Nadu government has been following the same farmers' policy, all these laws here. So, I definitely differ in that. And also, you have mentioned that 20% votes will be there, 20.5% will be there in Chennai for others, which is something we cannot accept it. When the results come, you will definitely see it.
Fair enough, sir. Okay, I understand. Obviously, you have a right to completely disagree with the DMK. The numbers, of course, on the board. DMK gives 25 seats to the Congress. Is that good? Is it bad? Or is it ugly? In the sense that is it being uncharitable to the Congress party? Well, good, 45% yes, because Rahul Gandhi's party is being seen as a liability in election after election. So Stalin very cleverly saying, look, I'm going to cut my losses. I'll give you 25. Be happy with that. The BJP got 20 from its own alliance partner. So here is a complete vindication of what exactly. Validation, vindication of what Stalin did. Let's quickly move on to the next question. Very important to look at some of these issue-based questions that we asked. Yashwant Deshmukh, will Hindutva plank click
in
rather
Tamil Nadu?
In
no.
Tamil Nadu?
45% say no.
It hasn't quite happened. Even though the DMK, even though the AIDMK have all flirted rather with some sort of a Hindutva slant in their politics, the DMK coming out and saying that we are going to give a certain degree of concessions to temples, etc., to maintain themselves. The BJP as well as the other side coming out with another bunch of promises about freeing temples from government control. But all of that is not in the mix. It's not in the mix. I want to bring in Dr. Sumansi Raman on this. Dr. Raman, the numbers, how are you looking at them? Before that, before you answer, just one quick more question before I come out to you. Just be ready. Yes, let's have a look at the next question. This is very important, viewers. Should DMK's dynastic politics end? Yes, say 41%. No, say 42%. Complete division, can't say 15.8%. People are confused.
So there are 42% people who are saying yes, dynasty is good.
Dynasty is good.
3 cheers.
It doesn't matter as long as you're delivering. And look,
so
viewers,
confirms, Rahul, that Stalin has been accepted. You know, this question is directly related or being seen as the acceptance of Stalin. So
I'm very keen on getting Dr. Sumansi Raman's take, because till now he's disagreed with each one of our projections. Yes, Dr. Raman.
Yeah. Okay. Rahul, let me say the following. I agree that the overall trend is in favor of the DMK getting a majority. Of that, I'm not in dispute. But this 8 seats for others is not happening. 3 seats for Kamal Hassan, 3 seats for Mr. Dinakaran, and 2 seats for others. Who are the others, for God's sake? There are no others. So I think that this is completely incorrect as far as 8 seats for others, for MNM plus AMMK plus others.
Do you agree with the 40% who say now, it's a very good decision to give a limited number of seats to the Congress?
Oh yes, that was known. I mean, in fact, as Yashwant said, the big issue was that Stalin possibly made a mistake last time around when they conceded too many seats to the Congress. They've done much better this time in making sure they get only 25 seats. But a word of caution.
Come to a conclusion. Dr. Raman, I think you're a contrarian. We are talking about the overall numbers and you're talking about 8 seats. I mean, 8 seats have got your goat. You generally agree with the trend.
But it tells you something when Congress supporters...
Rahul. It's explainable, Rahul, for a simple fact that there are...
larger issue because we have ADMK and BJP both on the panel. The northern part, which you are calling as Pallava Nadu, that is the area, and if Shabir would be on air, he would have clarified that this includes areas like Vellore, which has Vanyambadi, it has Ambur. All of these areas have substantial Muslim population vote. This is area where ADMK is feeling the heat of CAA. Therefore, if you saw recently, ADMK distanced itself from the BJP's position on CAA. They had even lost the Vellore Lok Sabha seat by 8,000 votes. And therefore, this area, which is anyways a DMK stronghold, is causing concern for them. And now, it would be interesting to know how the BJP and the ADMK reconcile, because ADMK needs every vote it could get, especially in the northern part. They are losing some votes because of this.
Is the alliance with BJP denting AIADMK?
Because ground level, ground reality is totally different, Padmaja. I admire Mr. Yashwant Deshmukh's one, and if tomorrow DMK may nominate him to the Rajya Sabha because of this tenure of 1 month happiness he is giving to them. The reason is Yashwant Deshmukh in Tamil Nadu, if he goes there, his name will be Yashwant Nidhi. Either Karnanidhi, Udayanidhi, Dayanidhi, he will be Yashwant Nidhi because he is giving largesse. He is giving freebies to DMK. I don't think so. There is no election trend in Tamil Nadu. There is no anti-incumbency for EPS. I disagree with Mr. Yashwant Deshmukh, and he's a good friend of mine. Apart from that, I want to ask one question to Mr. Yashwant Deshmukh. Are you telephoning from Delhi to Chennai and to Thiruvananthapuram, or you are going directly to them? Because ground reality is different. You are reflecting different things on the television. We are winning only on television, not on the ground reality. Because I know Tamil Nadu much more than Mr. Yashwant Deshmukh. If this is going to happen, it is because...
You don't agree with the methodology. Yashwantji, would you like to quickly respond? Then I want to get in Manu Sundaram.
That we have been getting Tamil Nadu correct again and again and again. I don't see a reason why the numbers should change from 2019 to 2021. There is nothing much has changed as such as far as the ground realities are concerned, number one. And of course, the fact of the others, there are 3 new parties which are contesting for the first time. You know, and when they are polling 3%, 4%, 5% vote, in the mathematical extrapolation, even from a 0 to 1 kind of a seat, the total will add up somewhere 4 to 5 seats. So there is no big deal in that. Yeah.
And let's put a caveat here. You may agree or disagree with the findings, but to attack the methodology or the pollster, I don't think gets us anywhere. Eventually, it's just about a month and a half away. You will know the results anyway. But Manu Sundaram, there seems to be a sense among a section of people who are saying that this seems divorced from what's happening on the ground.
Well,
Mr. Raman, just a second. Manu Sundaram. That is one thing to poll people, and it's another thing. Maybe there's a silent voter factor here as well.
No, absolutely. Look, I don't think poll predictions can be 100%, but you know, we take it with a pinch of salt, like we always do. I don't think any political party is going to get particularly elated or anguished by any poll results. We just do this on TV because I think it's a great way to know which way the trend is going. But really, it's a question of whether it will be a wave or it will be a tsunami or an ocean. We do not know until the last ballot is counted.
Why you are going
Nevertheless, let me clarify for the sake of times now, and everybody who's watching, that the DMK definitely does not intend to give any Rajya Sabha nominations to either C voter or anybody else. So I hope I can put that to rest with some certainty. Now, look, a couple of people have spoken about anti-incumbency and the Jayalalitha factor. We have to keep in mind, if Jayalalitha was alive today, she would be disqualified for the very fact that she would have also been convicted with Sashikala, and there's a 6-year disqualification from the day you're released. The larger problem, and I think no one has answered this about the BJP-ADMK alliance, and I hope I can if it's not out of turn, is that the alliance is being seen here as a case of the tail wagging the dog. Yes, it's true, Rahul has mentioned.
What about Congress?
If I may intervene, if I may, I think this is the first election where, if I may just, Manu Sundaram, if I may intervene, this is the first election where party is actually leading the personality as opposed to the last 40 years where personalities have led parties, point number one, because Stalin is not a towering personality of Tamil Nadu politics. He's not even half the shadow of his late father. Point number 2, what is also important, Padmaja, we all make mistakes in live TV. That's not a big problem. And secondly, I think the BJP has something to take out of this. It is not the end of Hindutva politics. In fact, Tamil Nadu has the largest number of temples. It is a very burning issue, but it is not the North Indian kind of Hindutva politics. The BJP can take some heart that the Vetrivel Yatra has been successful. It has revived their speaking space. They have also picked up an issue of Sadhguru Jaggi, which was raised on your interview, Rahul, about freeing Tamil Nadu temples. This caused the DMK to do a Gotra change and speak about temples for the first time in its manifesto. And apart from that, even committed Periyarists today go and bow their heads before a temple. So that is the success of the BJP in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, well, look, viewers, at the end of the day, Tamil Nadu, 177, that is what C voter Yashwant Deshmukh is projecting. Whether this pans out or not, whether it's going to be more, close, we don't know. This is what at least C voter Times Now's projections are telling you. You can choose to agree, you can choose to disagree, you can pick on the others, you can extrapolate for the NDA. You're free to do it all. That's the last word been said by this opinion poll. We're coming right back to Assam and then, of course, the big one, Bengal.